Hello there, gamerinos and gamerinas. Welcome to UnicornStorm. This is Rady, and today I'm going to tell you whether or not Arashi, Castles of Sin, is worth your while. This is a ninja stealth action game for the PlayStation VR. You have to infiltrate the castles of 6 different warlords, kill all their guards and defeat them in combat. And to accomplish that, you have your trusty katana and wakizashi, I believe it is called. But also throwing stars, a bow and arrow, a grappling hook, blow darts, and even more tools and weapons you find over the course of the game. You also have your trusty wolf companion by your side that can dig for treasure and attack your enemies to kinda hold them in place so that you can finish them off. The game is played exclusively with the PlayStation Move controllers, so that you can use both your hands. You move around by pressing the left controller's move button and tilting the controller in the direction you want to move in. You can also turn left and right with the face buttons on the right move controller, and you can perform a jump by pressing the move button on the right move controller, and then you get this targeting arc to see where you'll land. You can swing your swords around by swinging your move controllers around, and you have to perform the correct gestures to use any of your other items. You can cycle through your equipment via a button press, but every item has to be used in a different way. With your grappling hook, you only have to aim and shoot by pulling the trigger to pull yourself towards some special surfaces. To use your bow, you have to hold the left move controller in front of you, move your right controller towards the bowstring, push a button and then draw the bowstring back to fire an arrow. To use a throwing star, you have to hold the right trigger button and then perform a throwing gesture towards your target. And to use the blow darts, you have to awkwardly hold the right move controller in front of you to aim, and then just press the trigger button to blow a dart. There's a very strong auto-aim in this game, so you never have to aim too precise, but sometimes the auto-aim goes for a different target than you intended. So you try to throw a throwing star at an enemy, but the game decides you wanted to hit a torch, so you missed your intended target and maybe even gave away your position. Most of the time though, there aren't too many enemies in one spot, so you can still deal with them, and even if you die, you won't get set back too far away. Because this game isn't a huge open world or has large sprawling levels. Instead, it opted for a short, kinda corridor-based approach. So every castle is divided into multiple levels that you have to complete in a linear fashion. There's also a loading screen in between every level, so already alarmed enemies won't follow you into another area. And the enemies in the next area won't know that you're even there. But what happens if an enemy actually spots you and charges towards you? Then you quickly switch to your sword to fight them. And fighting enemies is not that complicated in theory, but can be a bit finicky in execution. When an enemy isn't attacking you, he's pretty much always in a blocking stance. So you can't just hack at them to wear them down. Instead you have to use, well, finesse. If an enemy strikes at you, you can deflect their blows by blocking with your sword in the right direction. I have tried to use the wakizashi to deflect enemy blows, but it didn't work. I don't know if it is even possible to use it for defense, but you can use it for attack. Not that you want to, because it's, well, really short. But yeah, as soon as you have deflected an enemy blow, they're staggered for a short moment. And that's when you have to strike and hope that you're not too far away from them. Because while the movement works fine during exploration or stealth, it's really bad during combat. Tilting the left move controller during a combat situation doesn't help much and confuses you more than anything. And since there's no lock-on feature in this game, you don't even want to move around too much because you'll just lose sight of your opponent. And they have no problem keeping track of you. And at times it seems you have to fight the system more than your actual opponent. If they are too close to you, they can slash through your block or behind your block, but still hit you. And if they're too far away, then you can successfully parry them, but completely miss your counterattack. Also, while the game recognizes sword strikes well enough, there can be moments where you slash through an enemy and it doesn't count as a hit. Because maybe from the game's perspective, you were in between slashes. Or maybe you didn't slash fast enough for the game to recognize it as an attack and not as any other motion. Well, and that's a problem with motion-based games. Maybe it would have been better if you had to press the trigger button on the corresponding move controller to signal your intent to attack. And then every motion counts as a slash. But I guess then things like climbing would have been more complicated. As it is, the game is a fine little mini challenge based stealth game. You can sometimes explore the levels to find ammunition or health or some lore items, but there's not too much to do. And the stealth isn't too well realized. I mean, it's nothing more than enemies slowly noticing you, you becoming invisible when in high grass, and you making a lot of noise while running. That's all. Oh yeah, and you can kill an unsuspecting enemy in one clean blow. And also hit your teacup and break your fingers and let everything spill on the floor. Yeah, that happened. Well, I didn't break my hand, I think. Yeah, so I guess the game's idea is pretty neat. To have this linear stealth game approached in a VR environment, to not have it be too complicated, and to use motion controls for all your weapons and items. But, well, this game doesn't offer very much. All the things you can do, climbing, throwing stuff, swinging around with your melee weapons, this all has become pretty much a standard for VR action games. Shadow Legend did it before and not much worse. And Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners is a lot more competent in this regard. And okay, if you really want to play as this ninja dude in feudal Japan and don't care that this game doesn't have the best level design and the deepest mechanics, then you might get a kick out of it. But this game costs about 30 euros or dollars. And that's way too much. You can get the Walking Dead game for that amount of money. You can get Shadow Legend for less. So yeah, you don't have to pay this much to get, well, a pretty shallow and mediocre experience. Yeah, you have this cute wolf, and it seems the developers spend a lot of time and energy on animating it and programming his behavior. But, well, it's not that you need the wolf. He can stun enemies. That's it. Most of the time he breaks immersion by walking around in the open in clear sight of the enemies. So, no, I can't really recommend this game, especially not at this price. Maybe if you're really into the feudal Japanese setting and you manage to get this game during a sale, then go for it. But aside from that specific instance, I don't think this game is worth your while. Nevertheless, I hope you have a great day. That's it from Rady, and I hope to see you again on the next game.